Hello, hello Twitch. Turn it down a bit. It's very noisy. Oh dear. I had to reboot my machine earlier on because I installed .NET Preview, .NET 6 Preview 3. I now have .NET 6 Preview 3, as you can see from my command line. Hey David, welcome to being a mod. Being ready to deal with the people who spam the chat with messages saying, do you want to buy followers? Why would you buy followers? I've never understood that. That was a thing on Twitter years ago. You could buy thousands of followers, and what's the point? They're not actually going to show up and watch the program, or is it to make you look more popular? So you kind of, people going, oh, he's got, I suppose. But yes, if we can auto-mod them, I don't know what mods get to do. If mods get to dive into my mod settings and change mod things on my channel, then go for it, because, yeah, I'm busy. So, yeah, I've had a day. Yes, no, I definitely need nobody calling me sexy. That's not something that the channel needs, is lies. So yeah, I'm getting my jab tomorrow. I'm getting my first vaccine shot tomorrow. I've got to drive all the way to Heathrow to go and get it, and then I will be like 60% immune to COVID, and then the second one in July, which is exciting. And I've written a completely custom from scratch XML schema code generator that generates like sane C# classes without millions of attributes, and generates the serialization code for them as well. And I'm not allowed to open source it, which is a real shame. But it works with like horrible Oasis XMLs, and if you ever want to see like exactly what's wrong with XML and why people like me don't like XML, go and look at the Oasis iCalendar 2.0 XML schema specification thing. I am my own boss, but I'm my own boss in that I sell my time to people and they say do this. And then I spend the rest of my time either doing this or writing a Visual Studio plugin that helps you migrate ASP.NET, MVC and Web API applications to ASP.NET Core, which is taking up my time at the moment. It's brilliant. Lots of, what's the word, Roslyn. Analyzing code and finding places where it calls throw new HTTP response exception, which is how Web API used to say return not found. You didn't just, because they hadn't thought of the action result thing that we have in ASP.NET Core MVC, where you have an action result class. How do I find the time? I don't watch a lot of television. I can control when I watch television, so I tend to. Also, I'm quite lucky in that I'm working for a company in the States at the moment, and it means I can start a bit later if I need to. And so I sort of do the day job, and then I do some work on the side project, or I do this. And then I watch things on Netflix or Disney Plus or something for an hour or two, and then I go to bed. And that's my life. That's my whole life. I've got kids, and I spend time with my kids, and I do Unity programming with my son, which is awesome. We're working on a remake of Club Penguin called Club Penguin C. And he draws the graphics with felt tip pens, and then we scan them in and make them move around in Unity and stuff. I might do a stream on that at some point and show you how that works, because that's pretty cool. And then with my daughter, I'm teaching my daughter GCSE computer science because she didn't have time to do it at school, so we're doing it at home. And I never did a formal qualification in computers. So yes, no, I mean, the drawings are not particularly animated. Bits of them are, but it's mainly just that they get to move around on the screen with the joystick, and you can throw snowballs and all this sort of stuff. But no, I have no formal qualifications in computering at all. And so yeah, I'm kind of studying GCSE computer science with my daughter, and talking about the fetch, decode, execute cycle and things like that, and learning these sort of fundamental things. And I'm thinking of the stream and stuff. Something I'm thinking of doing on stream in future is some sort of real basic stuff, digging in and looking at data structures and algorithms, and implementing sort of a hash table or a binary tree, or implementing quicksort in C# on the stream, and doing that sort of stuff. So if that's something that people would be interested in, then let me know in the chat. However, what we are going to do tonight is we are going to a business degree, what an MBA or a business, whatever the thing you do before an MBA is. So yes, no, we're not doing this stuff. We're doing Conficient. You are really just called Conficient, aren't you? I've just found you on Twitter, and then I'm going to follow you on Twitter. There we go. I'm now following Conficient on Twitter because he is in the thing of BSc in business. No, that's I have no degree at all. I left school at 16 because I had to, because my parents were shit. And so, yeah, partly self-taught, partly kind of learned on the job. And now I'm kind of going back and learning some of these fundamental things. And I thought I might share and do some of that on the stream. So that could be fun. But tonight we are going to continue working on this Overblaze, which I've now put this into .NET 6. So it's running in .NET 6. Just created a new Blazor lib to use Razor files as email templates. That sounds like fun. If that's on GitHub, stick a link in the chat so people can go and look at it, including me. That'd be awesome. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Is we're adding audio into here, and so we are going to have so we've got this toggle image thing here, which is something that goes over our control bus, which has this object thing here. And so I'm going to add another public class play audio prop string name, and we'll make that init as well. And I really could just make these records, couldn't I? Let's do that. Let's make these records, because string name, because then we can get rid of a whole bunch of stuff in here. String name like that, and then See, that does that like that. Oh, I'm still massive. Thank you very much. There you go. I'm not massive anymore. I'll shrink myself down here. So yeah, and that's going to become image.toString, and we can get rid of that there as well. I really like this thing in Rider where it shows you these little red lines over the Solution Explorer, so you can see where you're going spectacularly wrong. Image.name. So yeah, yeah, I haven't sort of gone wild for records, but I don't know why not. They've got lots of kind of useful, there's some really clever stuff built in there, and they are immutable by default. One of the things that the C# people are looking at doing is having is adding struct records. So you can get all the benefits of the record code gen in C#, but it's a struct. So you can say public struct record toggle image, and then that's much more lightweight. And yeah, you can define a record like I've done here. So this just becomes a public property which is read only, or you can just stick, so you can just change class to record, and then you get all the record code gen benefits. But yeah, they do things like, so they've got property based equality, so it does that for you automatically, and you've got this thing where you can, if you've got multiple properties, then you can say new record equals this record dot with, and then specify the properties that you want to change. There's some really nice stuff in there, but this extremely terse way of declaring an entire class with all the stuff that you then get off that. The only weird thing about the thing that's striking me as weird about it at the moment is, in C# we've always been told file per class, file per type. So if it's a struct, it goes in a file of its own. If it's an enum, it goes in a file of its own. And if you've got like an enum where the possible values are yes, no, and maybe, that's already quite a small file. But having a whole file, and there's another thing that's coming in C#10, which is file level namespace. So instead of doing namespace like this, you'll just be able to say namespace overblaze.services and then take out the curly braces, and it reduces the level of indentation of everything, which isn't available yet in .NET 6. And there's also global usings, which is looking really, so you can have a file in your project which is called like usings.cs, and then all your usings that you use in every file, so like system.link and system.collections.generic and Microsoft.extensions.dependency injection.abstractions, you can just bang them all into a single file, and at that point this file would basically become if this was just toggle image, this would become 2 lines long, because you'd have namespace overblaze services and then public record toggle image, and that would be it. And if I move that to playaudio.cs. Okay, so anyway, what do we need to do? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Control-Shift-R and copy this type, and I'm going to call it sound endpoint. And then where's my image store? Now, let's get rid of any breakpoints that I had from the last session. And we're going to copy this type and we're going to call it sound store, because these are basically the same things. They are things. They're what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, they're just things that are dumping stuff from one place to another. And so if I copy this type and call it sound model, and then my sound store, I'm not going to worry about add just for the minute. So we've got to do overblaze sounds. So that's going to be a different directory there. And then get path, we'll do get sound names. And then here, this is going to become get sound model. And we've got that one, and we've got that one, and we've got that one, and we've got this one here as well. Worry about that in a bit. So that's going to become get sound. And then this is going to be create sound model async. Rename that to sound model. And we're going to be looking for sound.star in the directory. So that's going to become sound file. And this can become sound model. So I'm just going through and looking for all instances of the word image in here. So we'll turn this into create sound model async. So yeah, if this is the sort of thing where honestly I could look at refactoring this and having like a generic base class for the different bits and pieces in here, and maybe that's a project for another evening. But for now, let's just go to percent app data percent. Can I go there? No. I don't want roaming, I want local, overblaze, and create a new directory called sounds, and then in there I downloaded some sounds earlier on, Twitch, audio, applause.mp3. So let's grab that and put it in there. and we'll call it sound.mp3, and then we're going to create a new text document, and we're going to call it info.json. And not sure what goes in there. So this get path here will do that and that. So this needs to go into a directory called applause. This is a fantastic database system. I do this a lot with simple applications. Just a directory structure with some files in it, and make the directory names part of the key. And it's a fantastic way of organizing information, because you sort of got in here, you've got the actual thing that you need, and then you just bang a JSON file beside it, which has got the stuff that you need in there, and it's pretty pretty low cost and lightweight, and works on all machines. Okay, so create sound model async. So if we go back to sound endpoint, and we change this to sound store and rename it to sound store, and then let's go over here and let's put, so .mp3 equals, and we need the MIME type for mp3 MIME type is audio/mpeg, apparently. Nice. Audio/mpeg. So that will now work. And then, yeah, we do that. So then in startup, we need to go down to here, and we need to endpoints.map get /sounds/name to sound endpoint.get, like that. And then this one here is going to become a play endpoint. Let's just jump back to where we were. Startup, and nope. Why am I back there all of a sudden? Play sound. Play endpoint.play. I'm getting a load of bings happening, and I have no idea why. Okay. Right, so toggle image, I'm going to change this to play sound, because that seems to be the word that I've chosen everywhere else. So my play endpoint will get the sound thing out of there. And then we're going to say command equals new play sound, sound.toString. Like that. So that will trigger it from an endpoint. And then we need to go into overlay.razor and in here we've got this list image model here like this, and we're going to add a list sound model underscore sounds equals new, like that. And then we're using event handlers for this, that's right. So that's become toggle image. That can go away because we took hide image out. Case play sound sound. If play sound is not null. Oh, that's what we need. Await play sound dot invoke sound. There we go. So that's doing that. So David, my current side project is just persistence in JSON file. Yes, yeah, and it works perfectly well. So the advantage of having everything all in one JSON file is it's really, really quick to read it, scan through it, search it, and all that sort of stuff. The advantage to having it in directories, the thing I like about directories is there's much less chance of race conditions. You're not going to have two things trying to open this, or it's less likely you have two things trying to open the same file at the same time. Right, so we got that in there. And then in the overlay.razor page, we are going to say control bus dot play sound plus equals play sound and create a method play sound in here. And then in our HTML up at the top here, so we're just going to say at inject sound store. Oh, no, get rid of that semicolon. You don't need that on those lines. Oh, well, that's all right. If you're the only user, then races don't matter. So Sorry, I completely and totally, I asked for the URL to Conficient's Blazor templater and then didn't do anything with it. A library that generates, let's drag this down here, a library that generates HTML from Razor components. This renders the My component as HTML. You can also set parameters on a component. Nice. Dictionary is used, pass parameter values to the component by name. That looks quite interesting. Let's go and look at the tests. Wow, is that MS Test? I haven't seen MS Test for years. Okay. I will have a proper look at that at some point in the future. Okay, so now I need an audio tag. And let's find the audio documentation. So src equals that, and we don't want the controls tag, so we just say src equals /sounds/ at sound.name.trim start / like we've done there, and we don't need to put the thing inside it. And we don't need to do the toggle, because what we're going to do here is we're going to play the sound, and then as soon as the sound has finished playing, we're going to call back into the Blazor code and delete it from the array. So that will be super helpful. So then we can say, so that can be play, and then var sound equals await sound store.get sound play.name. Make this async. If sound is null, return. Otherwise, _sounds.add sound, and then this await invoke async state has changed. So let's jump back to here. Where was it? No, it wasn't you. What did I do with my other one? Local overblaze. Let's open this up with code. So images boom info.json has got that. So sounds is just going to have name, applause. So that should work. I mean, technically, I could probably get away without that, but, you know. Right. So, we've got a thing to get the sounds from. Close other tabs. And then open overlay.razor up again. Local app data. Brilliant. I mean, what we really need is to drag it into here. But no, it doesn't want to do that. Let's go back. Pin to quick access. There we go. Now I can just stick it in there. You find my lack of tests disturbing? Yeah. No, that's a very good point. This is very, very bad form, what I'm doing here. The other thing that I wrote, I had a lot more tests. But the test with this is running it and seeing what happens. So we're going to jump down to here and we're going to do .NET Watch. And yes, I am going to investigate BUnit. Right, so there we go. And then I'm just going to, the amount of time I've spent waiting for /dashboard authorizing this. For some reason, if we go to sources for this, let's just refresh that. Okay, so window.location.replace/dashboard. So it works when I step debug through it, but it doesn't work when I don't. Whatever. Okay, if we now go back to OBS here, let's bring this across and refresh this. Cannot provide a value for property sound store on type. That's because I haven't registered it. There we go, that's what we need to do. It's always something that you forget. So, services.add singleton sound store, save, restarts because we're using .NET Watch. Refresh the page on here and then show it again. That seems to be there. There's Perry. Ooh. An unhandled exception. Status code cannot be set because the response has already started. At show endpoint line 23. Show endpoint line 23. Okay. Bomb. Bomb. There we go, that's better. And so let's see what happens if I go to play dash applause. That did not do anything. Control audio via OBS. Refresh. And then let's refresh this again. I'm not sure that I have any way of knowing if that's worked or not. There we go, let's get this looping. Faint echo. Yes, there is a faint echo. It's because I... So yeah, let's go to the elements. Let's go to localhost here, overlay. So this is the overlay. So if I do Perry, he shows up in both places there. So let's go back to here and hit refresh. And then I can open up the developer tools on here. And right, so it is there. And let's go to sound/applause on here. And that definitely works. So I think the problem basically is that it's putting it in, but it's not playing it, which is what I suspected was going to happen. So it's put the audio in there, but it is not playing the audio. So you can trigger the audio automatically. Everything says you shouldn't. And if you're making a web page for people to go to, don't, because it's really rude. I do not want to go to a web page and have it make noises at me. But this is different and it's okay. So we're going to have a look at doing this. So what we need to do, where are we? So you can go away, you can stay there for a minute. So we have got a way to call JavaScript functions from .NET. So add JS files, script tags before the closing body tag in the www root/index.html file or pages, so pages host.cshtml. Okay. So let's jump back into here, and if we find my host.cshtml here, so you have to put them in before the blazor.server.js thing here. So I'm going to add a script tag. Shout out in the chat if you still remember when you had to put language equals JavaScript and type equals text/JavaScript when you had script tags, because there was more than one scripting language. Yeah, see how quickly we forget. Script, language equals VB script. Oh yes. Imagine if Microsoft had won that battle and VB script was like the dominant language in the world and like the #1 language on GitHub, and Node.js was written in VB script. That's like an alternate history worthy of Philip K. Dick. That's like the man in the in the castle crying over his text editor. Anyway, see, it's not just code and Blazor and stuff on this channel. It's ideas for horrendous alternate histories. Right, window.play sound equals function ID and then we're just going to say document.get element by ID dot play. So I think that's JavaScript play audio. Yeah, there you go. Document.getElementById.play. Right. So I've put that in. So that's now available on the window for me there. So to call into JavaScript from .NET, use the IJS runtime abstraction. So let's go back to here. And I'm going to give this ID equals at sound.name. Whatever, that's fine. So we've got this IJS runtime. So we inject IJS runtime JS at inject IJS runtime JS. And then we can await js.invoke async. So then await js.invoke async, invoke void async, because it doesn't return anything. And then it's going to be play sound. Is that right? Yep. And we're going to pass in sound.name, like that. And that should, he said, highly confident with himself, grayscale mark. Oh no, there we go. It's booted back up again. It's because .NET Watch is just sitting there doing stuff. So then, where are we going? Back to here and this, and incomplete chunked encoding 200. Incomplete chunked encoding. Louder? Am I like too loud? Am I booming and stuff. Oh, you heard the applause that time. Did the applause happen that time? I can't hear it at this end. I get no feedback as to whether that's happening or not. Yay! We got the applause happening. That's completely brilliant. It was louder than me. Superb. That's the idea, is that it should be louder than me. But I need some kind of monitor. There's bound to be something in OBS that will let me play back the sound that's coming through the screen, and then I can stick that through my headphones and stuff. I'm a bit concerned about incomplete chunked encoding. What does this mean? You have forgotten a bracket. Chrome was cut off while the page was being sent. Your issue is trying to figure out why. Okay. I'm going to investigate that offline. Chrome did not receive a complete chunked encoding body. Whatever. Right. Oh, I wonder if that's... So play endpoint mucked up there. Play endpoint line 23. So yeah, the .NET Watch is quite good because it just blips very, very quickly and restarts. And yeah, the screen kind of goes wacky while it's doing it. But apparently there's quite a lot of stuff it will now be able to do without reloading the page. So, like, I mean, let's see if I can demonstrate this. Let's go to localhost /dashboard. I have got to do something about this. But yeah, if I now went into the code and go to my dashboard. No, let's go to my layout. No, let's go to the dashboard. And just put that in there. It restarted, but it's got this amazing kind of new hot reload stuff where it retains variable values and things, which is quite impressive. Okay, so let's. I'm going to turn off the overlay for a bit, and I'm going to stop this for now because we are going to add in Blazor component page, and we're going to call it add sound. And we don't need any of this stuff this time. Wow! Thank you so much, CLW. raided with 68 viewers or hosted for 63 viewers or did something for a whole lot of viewers. But if there's a whole bunch of viewers have just been dropped on me, then thank you very much. That's awesome. It's really nice to have you here. We're doing Blazor stuff. I'm making a Blazor overlay thing. I'm going to have to run it again now. But yes, I've got this Blazor overlay thing that I'm making that lets me do. So if I I've got to log into Twitch, which means I need my Twitch sorry, doing stuff off screen because this is twitch.tv, show, copy, go back to here, paste, log in. Now I've got a token. Oh, for heaven's sake. Accept the cookies, save the password, and I have to go and get the token off my thing. I will be back in about 10 seconds. Right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to go and get my phone. Right, there we go. That's better. And so, yeah, if I click Perry, it's not working from there. That's, oh no, hang on. So on here and refresh, and then if I click Perry, it shows Perry on the screen. And if I click him again, he goes away. But the really nice thing is that it integrates with a chatbot. And so in the chat, you can say images, and it shows you the image commands that are available. And then you can go boom, and it goes boom on the screen like that. And then I can turn it off again from my dashboard here. So this is the thing, right? This is the new bit. I'm just going to add in uploading sound. Okay. So add image. Boom, yes, Boom definitely needs sound. Let's turn the overlay off because I've knackered it. So we're going to copy this, and this is going to become an upload sound model. And then we can get rid of all of this, and there might be stuff to go along with it. But yes, so the plan, and I'm pretty sure we've got time to do this, is we're going to make it so you can upload sounds. And then we're going to modify the image upload so that when you upload an image, you can say there should be a sound played along with this, and then it'll show both the things at the same time. And if we can get it working tonight, I've got an animated GIF and a sound to go with it, and it'll display on the screen, and it should be fun and interesting. Okay, so so we are just going to have a video is tricky and big and stuff. I'm sticking with just images and sounds at the moment, but the ability to put images and sounds in together. So we're going to have an edit form. Close tabs to the left and close tabs to the right. Why Visual Studio doesn't have that, and it drives me nuts. What's that? Yeah, no, that is turning into an animated GIF and an MP3. But yeah, overlaying video, you kind of end up with, if you get it from YouTube, then you can bring in their player and stuff. So down here we had upload sound model underscore model equals new. And then our edit form we say at model equals underscore model, and on valid submit equals and we're going to change this to on submit like this. And we're going to put this into a div class. Hang on, div.container, div.row, and then div.col dash 8 col dash offset. No, let's do it 6 and 3. And this can go up here like this. So yeah, and then we're just going to have add class extra bracket, but thank you very much. Class equals form, and then we'll say div dot form group, and we have an input file goes here, and create that method down here. There we go. And in that we have I browser file, and then in our on input file change we can say underscore file equals args.file, like that. And then on submit, Yeah, so we don't need this. This was our preview from our upload image thing there. And then we can just say underscore model dot name. Now that's what we need, is we need a div class equals form group label for equals name, and then input text ID equals name, and at bind dash value equals underscore model dot name. Yeah, there we go. And then we just need our submit button at the bottom here. Let's reformat that code. So yeah, in on submit, we just need to say, we need to inject SoundStore into here. So at inject SoundStore, like so. And then SoundStore dot add async, and this takes underscore file dot open read stream, and we're just going to put underscore file dot content type and underscore model, and change the type of the parameter there to that. And then I think we navigate back to, no we don't. We probably should. That would be a definitely good thing to do. So then we can say at inject navigation manager, and then down here we can say navigation manager dot navigate to / dashboard, like so. Right. So if we say audio / MPEG is going to go to sound dot MP3, BP3, MP3. So yeah, if the sound, we get the content type of the file from the browser. So other thing that I need to do is go to my dashboard page, pages, dashboard. So let's put let's put an HR in there. And we'll put a BR in, and then we can grab this and say upload a new sound. Okie dokie doos. MCR85 is asking, is this some kind of shortcut with switch statement on right hand of assignment? I'm new to C#. Yes, it is. And I will talk about that in just a moment if you're new to this. So let's go into video. Oh hi Mark, oh hi Mark.mp3, and we'll call this oh hi Mark sound. Des, 2 months in a row with a subscription, dude. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm just rolling in coin. So yeah, I will come back to this in just a second and explain what that is. But that basically seemed to work. I don't know what else to say about that. That basically worked. We can check to see whether it worked by going into sounds, and yep, there we go. And we've got the MP3s in there. So that's fantastic. Right, let's slow down. Slow down, Mark. You're talking very, very quickly and getting very, very excited, and you don't need to. And we'll stop this and we'll go up to here. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this for a minute, because this is really cool. If you are completely new to C#, it has had a long and storied history, and I am currently working up the to do some intro to C# streams, and then edit them and stick them on YouTube as well. And it's going to be from absolute Hello World basics, but kind of talking about the history. Because C# started out, Microsoft called it a component-oriented language, rather than an object-oriented language, but C# is object-oriented. And there's another language called F#, which is functional. And for a while there was F# and it was a functional language, and there was C# and it was an object-oriented language. But then, because of some of the changes they made to .NET to accommodate F#, specifically the way they did generics, they started to bring more functional features into C#. And obviously F# also has object-oriented features. And with C# 7 and 8 and 9, they introduced a whole bunch of new stuff around pattern matching. And pattern matching, previously we had a switch statement, and you could say switch value and then case something and run these lines of code. And that was it. In F#, there's this thing you can do where you can say variable or value equals value match, and then basically write a little switch statement underneath it. And it's a shortcut way of doing that stuff. And so what this is basically doing is saying if content type dot to lower is audio/mpeg, then return sound.mp3. Otherwise, return null. So this underscore here is like the equivalent of default in a normal switch statement. And it's just a really nice sort of shortcutty thing that you can do to keep your code a bit terser. If you sort of imagine this having the other 5 or 6 audio types, then I only need a single line for each audio type instead of the case something set something equals this break, all this sort of stuff. It's just really nice and terse. Hi Najelja. I can't pronounce people's Twitch names. Yes, no, I love Ryder. I am a big fan of Ryder. No problem, MCR85. Happy to explain. Always happy to explain stuff if people shout out in chat. But yes, no. I tried using, I like Visual Studio Code. I really do. I do a lot of stuff in Visual Studio Code. But for C# editing, it's just so far from... I've been working now for... I've been working with .NET for 20 years. 21. Since the first beta of the first ever thing. But I've had ReSharper for 10 years. I finally started working at a place in 2009 actually, where they just went, here's your ReSharper license, and I was kind of like, yeah, I finally got a ReSharper license. And now I have my own .NET Ultimate subscription. I should really switch that over to MVP because I'm a Microsoft MVP and I think I get it for free. But yeah, I just can't work without all my Alt-Enters and my Control-RRs and all this sort of stuff. And Visual Studio Code, nobody has yet made it into something that compares to Rider or Visual Studio with ReSharper. So I don't use it. So there. I just want to, because we were talking about switch statements, I just want to show you one more thing that switch statements can do now in C#, which they didn't used to be able to do. This is quite new. So this class here, it's got a channel, and we don't worry too much about that, but it's a channel of object. Okay, so we don't know what's coming through it. I can put anything on this channel, and it can come through here. And pre C# 8, I think, introduced this. 8, we're on 9. 10's coming soon because there's a new version every year. But yeah, previously you would have had to say something along the lines of var img equals item as toggle image if img does not equal null. Await do / else var snd equals item as play sound, and so on and so forth. You had to do all of this, yeah, and so in C#, I'm gonna say it was C# 8. I'm gonna guess at that. It's very, very difficult to keep track in my head because it's a scary place with 8 projects in it at the moment. But yeah, they introduced this new switch, and so you can say switch on an object and case type and just give it a name, and then within this case block here you have this as this type here. And this also works with the other form of switch that we saw, so the postfix switch. So yeah, C#, it kind of got stuck for a while. They did link in C# 3, which was a huge thing, and then they did dynamic in C# 4, which I did do stuff with it. I kind of a lot of whatever notoriety I have comes from something called Simple Data, which was based on the dynamic type in C# 4. Des will remember me working on that if he's still here. And then C# 5, C# 4 was kind of, people went, oh, dynamic, it's good for things like word interop, which nobody does anyway. And then C# 5 had async and await, which was huge. And then C# 6, they spent most of the time with C# 6 rebuilding the compiler. So prior to C# 6, the compiler was written in C++. Both the compiler for C# and the compiler for Visual Basic. And so for C Sharp 6, the whole thing was that they rewrote the compiler in C Sharp. So the C Sharp compiler is now written in C Sharp, and the VB.NET compiler is written in VB.NET, which meant that C Sharp 6 took ages and ages and ages and had very few new features. I think the headline feature in C Sharp 6 was string interpolation, where you can create a string by putting $1 at the start and then putting stuff in. But the whole point of C Sharp 6 and the Roslyn project, the project to rewrite the compilers in C Sharp and VB.NET, was to make it easier to then iterate on it. And so since C Sharp 7, it's just gone nuts. They add all these new features, and it's open source. The specification is open source. The implementation is open source. If you are super duper clever, you can contribute to the C Sharp compiler project, and you can add features in, and do interesting stuff with it. And so yeah, C Sharp 7 had a whole bunch of stuff around performance and ref structs and working with spans and all the stuff that went into .NET Core 3 and 3.1. And yes, David, yes you are, you're super duper clever. And C Sharp 8, I can't even remember what the headline features. So C Sharp 8 had the switches and pattern matching and better object checking and all that sort of stuff. And C Sharp 9 had records, which are a new way of doing classes. And C Sharp 10, from what I've seen of it so far, has a lot of kind of little quality. Oh, and C Sharp 9 top level programs. So now your program.cs file, you don't need the using and the namespace and all this sort of stuff. You can just say system.console.writeline. Span was 7 or 7.3 or something like that. It was ref structs that were the thing that enabled span. But yes, 10 has got lots of things that make it a little bit nicer. But they haven't decided exactly what's going into 10 yet. Right, okay. Anyway, Mark, upload image model. We're going to have a prop string sound. So that's going to be a sound that goes along with it. Okay. And then in addImage.razor, we're going to add another field here. We'll put it after CSS, and it's going to be called sound. Okay, like that. And then our toggle image, we're going to string sound equals null. So that would be string question mark then. Nullable references, those came along with one of these as well. That was C Sharp 8, wasn't it? Nullable references. Before C Sharp 8, any reference type, so everything basically except ints and date times and time spans and decimals and floats and those kind of really simple built-in types, and structs, things that were structs allocated on the stack. But everything that was allocated on the heap that was a reference type could be null. And there was nothing in the code that kind of went, oh, you haven't checked to see if that's null. There was nothing in the compiler. And so they introduced this thing, nullable reference types. So string is a reference type. And so now if you turn this on in your code, you basically have to put a question mark after the type name if it is nullable. And then the compiler will say, Either you can't pass that value into that method because that method's string parameter isn't nullable, and your string that you've got here might be null, so you need to check that it's null before you pass it over there. And if you turn it on, I mean, actually you'll see the build output when I run this. There's just a ton of yellow because I've got a whole load of nullable issues in my code. But yeah. What fun. So toggle image now has the ability to have a sound. And so then we're going to go to control bus. But yes, the nullable reference type's totally worth it in the long run. So there we go there. So show endpoint dot show. Image dot right. So then in overlay.razor, we can say if image dot string sound equals null. So then image store here model dot sound, like that there. So then in overlay.razor, we can say if image dot sound is not null. That was C#9. So C#8 introduced the is keyword in more places, and you could say if thing is null. But it was there was no not in there, and so if you wanted to say is not null, like in C#8, you had to do that, which was just horrible. But now we have is not null. Then we can say var sound equals await sound store dot get sound image dot sound. If sound is not null, so make sure it is a legit sound, then we can say underscore sounds dot add sound, and then down here we can say if image dot put a bool sound And then down here we can say play sound equals true. And then down here we can say if play sound, and we can invoke our JavaScript like that. Oh no, let's split declaration and move variable to outer scope. And I'm going to stick this up here. And initialize that to null. And then down here we can say if sound is not null. But yes, things like add braces like that, that's why I use Rider and not Visual Studio Code. Nothing against Visual Studio Code. It's lovely. It's fantastic for JavaScript. I used it when I was playing around with Rust. I use it for quick jumping around editing. And if I'm just showing code, if I'm not actually live editing code, then I quite often use Visual Studio just because the zoom, the ability to zoom the entire IDE in is so great. But yeah, on the stream, Rider all the way. Okay. Well, let's try this and see what happens. So upload new image, choose file, ohhighmark.gif, ohhighmark. Oh, I haven't taught it to deal with GIFs yet, have I? Oh, whatever. So, upload new image, choose file, ohhighmark. That should now be showing up over here. But the sound is going to be ohhighmark sound. And this is going to be ohhighmark. And width is going to be 50%, and bottom is going to be 0, and right is going to be 0, which should put it down in the bottom corner there. And submit. And something bad happened. Supplied file with size blur exceeds the maximum of blur. Oh, that's new. Probably a good thing that we ran into that. So Blazor maximum 51200 bytes. Blazor maximum bytes. By default, the max allowed size parameter on OpenReadStream can be used to specify a larger size if required. That's actually very helpful. Okay. So, add image.razor, OpenReadStream. There you go. So yes, this is all local. so I don't really care too much about this. So I'm going to say const long max upload size equals, so 1024 times 1024 would be a megabyte. So let's make it 4 megabytes. Max upload size. All right, let's try that. Upload a new image, choose file, oh hi Mark. Oh hi Mark sound. See whether that went in. Overlays, images. Good, good, good. And my info.json has the sound in there. Okay, so let's go to the overlay localhost overlay. Show slash o underscore hi Mark. Okay, so that did that, except the image didn't work. So this image here oh hi Mark image didn't download. So let's go to the image endpoint. And do this again. So path. Yep. Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? There. Extension content type try get. So yeah, here you go. This is dot gif equals image slash gif. So this is the other way. MCR85. I don't know if you're new to programming generally or just new to C#, but this is another way of kind of doing, it's sort of like a switch. If you've got one value and you want to go to another value, then a dictionary looking things up is quite a good way to do that. So so now there's an oh hi Mark in there as well. I will do something about the layout of those later. If we refresh this, close those down, and then go to here and go Badoop. And F10, do. Okay. So now we should be able to go back to here and display the overlay like this. And then in the chat, I can go, oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
And there we go. And get rid of it again. And you can let me know if it's playing the sound. So is that playing the sound?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Or not? Yes! Oh, what a way! Oh, I'm super happy. That's really fun. That's really, really fun.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, God, I need the clear button. So, yeah, with images that play with sounds, what I want to try, and I'm going to put we're going to do the clear button as well. So you cancelled each other out. Got to play nicely together. Right. So, the super fun thing, I can turn Perry off from my Stream Deck. I need Boom and Oh Hi Mark on my Stream Deck. Although actually Oh Hi Mark is really for other people. It's kind of people drop into the stream and go Oh Hi Mark, so I actually just need it to clear. Right, so we have looked at calling JavaScript from Blazor. But the other thing that you can do is you can call back into Blazor from JavaScript. Okay. And we don't want to do a static method, we want to do an instance method here. Okay. So we can say instance method call. You can call .NET instance methods from JavaScript. Pass the .NET instance by reference to JavaScript. Wrap the instance in a .NET object reference instance and call create on the... Whatever. So yeah, here is the thing here. We get a .NET helper, and then we can return .NET helper.invoke method async. Okay, so let's go back into our overlay code here. And turn that off so you guys can see what's going on. Right, so let's go back into here. And we'll add a function, add a parameter to this function here. And then we'll say var element, no, const element equals document.get element by ID, ID. And then we can say element.add on event listener Thanks for the follow. So yeah, sound only plays once, GIF keeps repeating. That's what I'm dealing with now. So the sound will play once and then the GIF will be removed once the sound has played. HTML audio element events. Ended. So we can add an event listener ended, and then we can say .NET helper dot invoke async invoke method async and it's going to be called on sound ended, and we're going to pass in ID as a parameter. So that, in theory, should then call a method on sound ended in here. So overlay.razor. Close other tabs. So we're invoking this play sound method in our JavaScript. So we need to get var .NET helper equals .NET object reference dot create this. Okay. And then we can pass this across as a parameter to the play sound method. Okay. And we are going to have a dictionary of string, comma, string underscore sound images equals new, like this. Okay. And then in here, we are going to say underscore sound images image dot sound equals image dot name. Okay. Can you pass a reference to a func, like just a standard callback pattern? I don't know. So pass a func in, and call it back with invoke. Yeah, I expect you probably could. Let's try that, because that would actually be much better than this. All right, we're going to try this. So we're going to say action callback equals to var image equals underscore images dot first or default. Actually, no, we can just underscore images dot remove image. Underscore sounds dot remove sound, and func task callback equals async, like that. Nope. Do var callback ref equals .NET object reference dot create callback. That goes in there like that. That goes in there like that. And then this is just going to become invoke like that. Well, let's see. All right, Des. Good to see you, mate. See you next week. Oh, sorry, David. Sorry, I thought it was Des there. See you next week. Back on Tuesday, same time, same place. Same. No, I'm not doing Tuesday. I'm doing Thursday next week, but I'm doing something else on Tuesday. So, overlay. Two. God damn it. 25293. 25293. There we go. So there's my overlay, And then if in here we do oh hi Mark, and that did not get triggered. Let's do this again. Okay, and we're going to go into sources. So yeah, the question is how to debug that. Thanks for the follow, Marcus Voice. So we're getting a console error here. The type action does not contain a public invoke. Oh, that's why we can't do it. Because we have to put a JS invocable attribute on it. That was the thing. Why are we there? So yes, you have to put this JS invocable thing on it, and you can't do that with lambdas, which is a damn shame. But we sort of proved out that the thing generally is going to work. So I'll tell you what, let's make this an action here. And then we can say underscore sound images sound.name equals callback, like that. And then we can have a private void on sound ended string ID if underscore sound images dot try get value ID comma out var callback. And then we can take that out of there and we can put it into here. So this is what I was saying. Someone was talking earlier on about C# and functional stuff. This is what I was saying about C# moving towards being a functional language. We can create standalone floaty functions and stick them in a dictionary. And no, I'm not going to use a local function because I'm doing something with you down here. Just be quiet. So on sound ended, and then I can put JS invocable on here. And let's just jump back to here and make it public. Okay. And then we can say underscore sound images dot remove ID, like that. And then my JavaScript down here. So this callback reference would be this instead. And then here, the method is on sound ended and it takes ID as a parameter. So on sound ended, comma ID. All right. I don't know whether you can put an attribute on a local function. I just have this feeling like it's not going to work, basically. So here's the overlay. And we're going to go into the chat and we're going to go, oh, hi, Mark. Nope, still not happy. Play failed because the user didn't interact with the document first. Right. This is Google protecting me from stuff. All right, so let's do this again. And then this. It worked. So let's run remove all line breakpoints. Bang this up, do this. All right, I'm going to turn it on the overlay. There it is. And one last time.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yes. So now people can do that on my stream as well.
Oh, hi, Mark.
One of the first things I did for a conference talk was to show, I made a thing that would let people heckle me. And I turned it on for everybody and people could, so while I was on stage talking at this conference thing, people could, I really need to do the clear functionality now. And we need to put some sounds with boom. But yes, oh, I love this. Yeah, I made an app so that people could heckle me while I was giving the talk. And then years later, I did that again because I think I wanted to play with WebSockets or something. I can't remember what I was doing, but yeah, something like that. And now I've made something that allows people to just pop crap up over my stream while I'm streaming, including with sound, because there is sound in there as well. Yeah, what's the betting that applause is? If I put some, I want to put sad trombone in. Sad trombone's definitely got to go in. Anyway, that was awesome. That was so much fun. 2 hours, and that's a pretty good to be able to add that. The oh hi Mark
Oh, hi,
thing.
Mark.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, but I am. I worked all day and now I've just done this and I've really worn myself out. It's fantastic. Thank you so much. If you are still here, W, for the raid and for dropping in with all your lovely viewers. Thank you to all the lovely viewers from the raid who stuck around and put up with me doing my stuff. Please, if you like this sort of stuff, Blazor, C#, .NET, if you're new to .NET or if you've been doing it for years but you want to know more about the latest bits and Blazor and that sort of stuff, then Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 o'clock UK time, which is currently 6 o'clock UTC. Except Tuesday next week, I'm not doing this because I'm going to be doing a live stream with Microsoft Channel 9, which is fun and exciting, and I'll be tweeting about that. You can follow me on Twitter, there's a link there, and there's a Discord that you can join, and there's a link to that there. But yeah, that is it for this evening. Massive thanks to everyone for dropping by. I hope you had as much fun watching that as I did doing it, because I am so happy with myself right now. And I'll be back on Thursday next week, but I'll tweet about the thing I'm doing with Microsoft on the Tuesday, so if you want to drop in and watch that, then that's about gRPC in .NET 5 and .NET 6, and that's going to be fun too. All right, brilliant. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, enjoy your weekends, take care of yourselves, and I will see you all next week. Cheers, bye.